Whether you've been gone a couple months, a year, 3 years, Clash Royale is constantly being updated, and when you step away for a bit, it might feel like you've missed a ton of stuff. In this video, I plan to highlight some of the biggest changes in Clash Royale that you definitely need to know about from about the past 3 years. Maybe this will save you some time from having to research everything or watch individual tutorials because the game doesn't quite tell you everything. Now, depending on how long you've been away can really change what you want to know about, so I've included chapters you can skip between in case you want to jump right into a specific topic. And lastly, I know this isn't the typical video for my existing viewers. I know all of you probably play Clash Royale, but if you want to stick around and watch it for fun, I hope you will enjoy anyways.
Let's do this.
Back in the day, if you quit playing for a while and came back, nothing would have changed. Back to the same old grind, huh? But ever since 2023, if you've been inactive for more than 90 days, you'll be granted a welcome back discount, which is 50% off all upgrades. Basically your own personal Clash Royale. You may also find some free stuff in the shop and welcome back offers, so make sure to check that out and use Code Havoc. Hey, don't hate me, it's the first time I said it in like a year. But what about decks? It's arguably the hardest thing about coming back. The meta has shifted greatly and you don't know what cards are good or bad anymore. Well, fortunately, card info screens now show what they do, but even better, there is a deck explorer right on the deck screen, right in the game. So right? You select the cards you want or don't, and it'll search decks for you. Some even have previews of players using those decks, which is a fantastic way to see how cards work in decks you want to use. But if you're looking for something more meta, the usual websites like Deck Shop Pro and Royal API are still around. Speaking of cards, there are now two new different kinds of cards: Champions and Evolutions. Both of these are way more different than anything we've ever got. Let's start with Champions, which is the new highest rarity after Legendary. It is unlocked like any other card: Trophy Road, chests, challenges, Pass Royale, and money. And it even has its own chest that guarantees one, kind of like the legendary chest. Once you have a champion, you can only use one per deck. Champions are basically like heroes in Clash of Clans, in the sense that they have an ability that can be activated after being deployed. Here it uses Elixir, and every champion has a different ability that totally changes the way you're going to be playing Clash Royale. Evolutions are different. It's kind of like a special upgrade for cards you already have, so you don't need to do any unlocking here, you simply get shards. Shards are these triangle looking things that you can find in the season shop, the actual shop, and tons of more places. Once a card is evolved, you can place it in the evolution slot in a deck. It's the one in the top left corner. Once you're in a battle, after a certain amount of cycles, the evolution will activate and then you can play it like any other card. Except it will now have special powers. Pretty sweet. Not every card has a evolution yet, but you can tell by looking for this gemstone looking slot on cards. And while you're here browsing, take a look at what the evolution does by clicking the tab next to the info. The homepage has been completely reworked, but if you want to hop into a battle, it's not that simple. There are now two options: Trophy Road and Path of Legends. So which one's ladder, bruh? Trophy Road is kind of like the old ladder system without leagues, but for the most part it's remained the same. Climb the ladder and get rewards. However, you cannot drop arenas, so no more going back to Arena 8 and trolling people. Also, there is an actual end to that road, and the trophies never reset. And since you cannot drop arenas, you are basically stuck there forever. You can still play it for crowns and whatnot, but that's about it. On the other hand, Path of Legends is basically a ranked mode. If you're looking to kick some ass in true ladder style like the good old days, this is what you're looking for. With each win, you go up a step, getting rewards along the way as you climb the leagues. Path of Legends does reset every season, and the leaderboards are now based on that. So to sum it up in a couple words, Trophy Road is now like a casual 1v1 with real progression, and Path of Legends is now the new Sweatfest. Okay, so what if you're not into ladder or Path of Legends though? Where the hell is the 2v2 and all the other fun game modes? Well, all of that is now located in the events tab, which is now a central hub for everything that's not ladder. Here you can play 2v2, casual 1v1, events, global tournaments, all of that. By playing anything in this tab, you get a new currency called season tokens, which you can spend at the season shop. Here you'll find cards, shards, emotes, magic items, and more. It is a little annoying having to go to the events tab every time to 2v2, but at least there is a cool shop, so not complaining. Speaking of magic items, I thought it was worth going over those quickly. As you just saw, you can find these in the season shop, but also just about anywhere in the game. Wild cards are rarity specific. Think of them as empty cards. You can choose where to put those cards as long as it's the same rarity. Books of cards are also rarity specific, and they give you just enough cards to upgrade that card. However, this does not include the gold cost. This would be the magic coin, which works with any rarity. It basically makes any card upgrade free. And finally, keys. These keys allow you to instantly open a chest without having to wait for the timer. Okay, you've been playing for a while now and you've been eyeing that pass. Well, before you consider buying it, here's a few changes you should know. Right off the bat, you'll notice it's split into 3 now: the free side of the pass, the gold pass, which is what we've had since 2019, and finally the diamond pass, which is brand new and expensive. Depending on when you've last played, the free side is mostly the same. Crown chest galore, except now there's the occasional season token, which you can spend in the season shop. The gold pass is now loaded with a variety of magic items, gold crates, season tokens, and of course the same exclusive emote, tower skin, and perks as before. Now with the diamond pass, it is essentially a beefier gold pass. The major difference is its contents. You get 500 gems throughout the track, so if you already buy gems, it's basically a $5 discount. 6 shards for the new evolution. Usually there's one every season, so you basically unlock it immediately. Exclusive animated banners and some decent chests that you won't see in the gold pass. Which pass you pick depends on how much you actually play and value a season pass. That's really up to you, to be honest. However, I do want to make you aware that there is a cheaper way of getting these passes from the official Supercell store. So, not sending you to a random website. They're about 10% cheaper there, which is awesome, and you can still support your favorite creator. Levels have kind of stayed the same, except now there are more levels, but that's to be expected over the years. However, there is one thing that may appear totally different and confusing at first, especially if you skip all those pop-ups. Your level, not your King Tower level, your XP level is now different. That's why you may notice that your level is much higher than a King Tower level. What they did is simply separate your level from your King Tower level, now called King Power level. So now leveling up is its own separate thing. And every time you level up, you climb the ranks in the King's Journey, which can be found in the top left corner by tapping that crown. In this new King's Journey tab, you'll find chests, shards, but most importantly, every few levels you reach a new King Power level, which is how you level up your King Power. Honestly, this leveling system is way better. I'm a huge fan of it, and the chests are pretty beefy, so it's all much more worth it. Speaking of levels, you may have noticed that level 13 or 14 doesn't display as the max. Well, that's because it's not. Cards now max at level 15, but it's not as simple as upgrading your cards to max anymore. Leveling from level 14 to 15 now requires 50,000 elite wild cards, which can be attained from getting extra copies of your level 14 cards. The game still considers 14 to be the max, kind of. So as long as you have level 14 cards, you will get these elite wild cards. Once you have those 50,000 elite wild cards, it will require no gold to upgrade. And there you go, you have level 15 cards, which are now referred to as elite level. Obviously, there is a huge amount of cards you need to get, but don't sweat it, you're not supposed to get them overnight. Personally, I don't even have one of them. What I've been doing is just putting any elite wild cards I have to my favorite cards, and I know one of them is the Mega Knight. Stop judging me. But yeah, that's basically how they work. Speaking of card progression, there is another layer added to them as well, Masteries. You may or may not have noticed them while playing, as really all it takes is playing the card. Masteries are basically quests for all of your cards. It's usually something like drop this card so many times or do X amount of total damage. It's fairly simple. As you complete these quests, the card mastery levels up, you get rewards for it, and the badge for it changes colors. The higher the mastery level, the better the rewards, obviously, and as I mentioned, you should be getting these by simply playing the game, so yeah, just keep playing as you normally do. So that brings me to the next topic, which is banners, badges, and everything that involves customizing your profile, which has been completely overhauled. A major portion of the profile has the information you would have found in it years ago, but there are a few new things. Tapping on this paintbrush, you can change your decor, basically any art that is displayed. If you tap on the empty banner, you can change the frame, which is the background of it. And finally, if you tap these badges, you can choose to display any 3 that you like. These badges come from masteries and achievements like how long you've been playing, for example. This entire combination is shown whenever someone visits your profile and every time you start a match. There are various ways to obtain all of this stuff. If you head to the home screen and tap this blue and yellow box, this is where you can get more of those banners that include the decoration and the frame. You need 100 tickets to open a box, which you can get from the daily task, season shop, and mastery rewards. Or if you have the gems for it, it costs 50 gems, but keep in mind that every time you buy one, it goes up another 50 gems. The banners in this tab do reset every season, so that's another thing to keep in mind. If you like something you see, then I'd work towards it. Another way to get banners is from the shop whenever they pop up. Those are usually exclusive and cost real money. And then the animated banner, which is included in the Diamond Pass. Okay, switching gears here a bit, let's talk about new chests. Over the last few years, we've seen some cool new ones like gold crates. Those only have gold and there are 3 tiers to them: regular, plentiful, and overflowing. Royal wild chests, which are filled with wild cards. The champion chest should be pretty obvious, it contains 1 champion. And finally, the level up chest, which can be obtained by leveling up. So finally, to wrap it up, I wanted to talk about everything else that can be easy to miss, like star levels. As you know, they used to be exclusive for max cards. It was a endgame content. But today, it's unlocked at XP level 10, and your cards don't need to be maxed at all. Previously, if you forgot to claim your rewards from Clash Royale, you couldn't claim them anymore. Today, you should see an option to claim all of the previous rewards, which is pretty neat. You can copy decks, share them, and paste them just about anywhere you need a deck, and you can finally practice with decks that actually beat you. So if you go to the battle log and click on practice on any match that you lost or won, the trainer will have the deck that your opponent was using. That way, you can practice. Heading on over to the settings, there is finally volume sliders in the audio tab, and in the more settings, if your device can support it, you can toggle on the higher frame rate option, which to my understanding removes the game's cap, which is 60 Hz. So if your phone goes up to 120 or 144 or even higher, it should hit those numbers. And finally, if you have an interest in playing on a PC, there is finally an official way of doing so via Google Play Games. However, thus far, this only works on Windows. So guys, that's pretty much all I thought was worth mentioning. I tried to hit every big and game-changing feature that we've got since like around 2020. Which seems to have been a time when a lot of players left the game after Clan Wars 2.0 and a whole host of bad things that year. Personally, I also quit that year, so I basically just put everything in this video that I would have liked to know if I had came back today. I also made one for Clash of Clans. If you guys want to check that out, it'll be here on the left. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Havoc Gaming out. Peace!